It takes a village, because for all means for all. Together we'll break down any wall. Linked in love, we won't disarm. We're uniting the grassroots army strong. So press play, feel the spark. This is where the movement starts. It takes a village and we're the proof. Truth in action, raising the roof. It takes a village. It takes a village. We rise together, louder than fear. One voice from fire, crystal clear. From every banner, every street, unity moves on dancing feet. We rise together, we're strong. A million hearts singing one song.
Tonight is a very special night because we had a cancellation with our candidate due to an emergency. I hope that everything is okay, Bree, and we'll get you rescheduled as soon as we can, okay? In the meantime, ladies and gents, welcome to It Takes a Village. We don't just talk about politics. We platform people building power from the ground up. I am your charming and furious host, Political Jess, and let's be clear, I'm not going anywhere. Not today, not tomorrow, not until the grassroots win, and even then, who knows? So our guest tonight had a little bit of an emergency. So we're definitely pivoting because we've had a lot going on this week. Has this week been a weird week for all of you guys too? Because it's been kind of strange for me. I will tell you. Very strange as a Texas person in Texas who is looking at the rest of the country and like, you know, victories in Virginia and victories in New York and Georgia coming in hot. You guys like killed it. And then in Texas, I just feel like I'm swimming in a giant pile of dookie. You know, it's not a comfortable feeling. So what I want to know from you guys is what is your community doing to maintain the momentum? What you guys are doing to help bolster the needs of your community, and for the two people in our panel who are running for office, I want to know where you're running specifically, and what sets you apart from your opponents. So let's start with, I'm going to start at the bottom, actually. Let's start with Maura. Let's hear from you.
Well, what makes me different from my the guy that I'm running against is I'm actually here. We're still looking for him. Okay.
Amazing.
So yeah, I just did, my background is having been in the military, as a strategic analyst. So I've been trying to figure out how many days he hasn't been here. And it's huge. He's everywhere but Georgia.
My rep is like that too. He's just MIA, completely missing in action. I find it really hard to understand how you can represent a community and then not show up for them. You know?
Well, you know what I see with at least here, they think they have it in the bag. So whatever it is that they want to do, it doesn't matter because they're going to get reelected. And they really feel they have enough of those votes that they're fine. And I think that's going to be a big awakening for them when the 2026 comes around.
I mean, if this wasn't a big, fat, giant red flag for them that they need to make some changes, I don't know what's going to help them. Like, I'm totally stumped.
I mean, look at MTG right now.
Did you see her on The View? Did you guys see her on The View today? Was that today? Marla's like, no, I absolutely did not. Nope, do not. Nope. And I fully feel that in my soul. I actually just watched a clip of it that somebody sent me, and I don't watch that show, but it was very strange because she sounded very left. It was bizarre. I'm like, this is this is Space Lasers, Marjorie Taylor Greene, right? Like
Yeah.
this is the same lady, right? Yes. So weird. So weird. So she at least got the memo. I don't know if anybody else is going to be able to help her, but
What's funny is they asked her about the space lasers on The View, and her response was, "Well, I was just giving in to the disinformation I was hearing," and just kind of laughed it off. It's like, that's not true. It's weird.
that is so strange. That is so strange. So Marla, can you tell me about your community, what you're doing to bolster your, because I know you are very involved in like mutual aid, and there's all kinds of and you see you on Bernard's Live all the time. You're just like,
Yeah,
yes, I
I
love that you guys are buddies.
yeah, I love Bernard. I have lots of friends who are candidates, lots of friends who are politicians. I'm actually a political writer by trade. Well, technically journalist by trade, but currently a political writer. So that's how I'm engulfed in the politics of life every day. But what I actually do for my passion is I am the founder of a nonprofit organization called the Bautista Project. And it's a nonprofit here in Tampa who serves unhoused community members and military families facing food insecurity. And so, as you guys know, right now, that's kind of a big deal because folks are not getting paid. Folks are receiving partial pay. And so we are hosting pop-up pantries week after week after week to make sure that our families are taken care of, making sure they have cleaning supplies and hygiene and food just to get by. And, you know, we had a pantry. Our pantry is we have a static pantry at MacDill Air Force Base, which is a static pantry is a pantry that doesn't move. So with all shelf stable food. And so service members and their families and DA civilians can go over there every day and get food. But we also have a mobile food pantry that serves produce. And we were doing that once a month prior to the shutdown, but now we're doing it every week. And not yesterday, because today's Friday, on Wednesday, they served 994 families at MacDill. And that is massive. And people are like, that's amazing. I'm like, I hate that for us. I hate that for us because why are all of these families having to resort to a food bank in order to survive? We've got conflicts going on everywhere. And these service members, if you've never lived, I know Mara understands, but if you've never lived a military lifestyle, I don't give a shit about your war if I got shit going on at home. I'm going to be honest. So this is impacting our national security. This is impacting military readiness. When people don't have food, when we don't have proper health care, when we don't have the things that we need for our families, it is impacting all of us. Even if you're not a military person, it is putting us all at risk. And this should never be the case. And I have a quick funny analogy. Like, so my cousin, she is married to an NFL player. And she was saying, we go there every year for Christmas. And she's like, I just love that your husband, has such a noble career. And I'm like, you're fucking rich, bro. Like, what? What? Like, yay. Thank you for your service. I know you guys love hearing that, Mara, but that doesn't put food on people's tables. And so we've got to make sure that as a community, we are working together, not only to make sure that our military families have what they need, but to also make sure that we're putting politicians in those seats who actually represent us. We cannot pat them on the back and say, go vote or go win this election. You have to put money in their hands. You have to make sure that you're phone banking and canvassing and make sure that you are doing your part in democracy. These people, like Mara said, these people have millions of dollars in their war chest for campaigns. They don't have to be out boots on the ground every day. They don't have to show up on all these TikTok panels. They don't have to do any of that because they can drop a $2 million ad whenever they feel like it. They can pay hundreds of canvassers to do those things. But if we want people to represent us from our communities, we have to push those people forward. And the only way we can do that is by tangibly supporting these individuals. And so that's kind of me flipping from nonprofit to job. That's what I do for my job. So let me go ahead and post myself. We did win 3 elections last week. So yay us in Orlando. We won our our 3 city council seats for our endorsed candidates. So we are super excited about that. And we have just been winning election after election. So this blue wave started before this week for us. And we're just super grateful. Florida's Florida, right? But I don't want to say the H word. I really despise the H word. So someone else can say it, but I have fill in the blank for our future. I don't want to say it. I said it for the Harris campaign. I worked on that campaign. It didn't work out. So I'm not going to say that.
No.
But yeah.
That's
So
a 4-letter word.
Hope. No, it's a jinx. I don't want to say it. So I'm just going to, hopefully, and I said it. But, going forward, let's just keep up the blue wave. Let's keep up putting people in that truly represent us. We can't be mad when the rich people are in the House, in the Senate. We cannot be mad because we didn't do our jobs. We didn't do our part. We can't sit back and complain. We can't get on TikTok and talk crap about politics, close the app and go on about our life and think things are going to change. That's not how things work in the real world. So, yeah.
We're definitely in a very strange position now where voting is not enough.
It's not enough. And actually, it's never been enough. But because we were comfortable, we thought that it was okay. We thought that it was okay because we were comfortable. It's not until we're desperate when we start looking up and saying, hey, where did this go? It's like, well, this has kind of been getting taken from you for lots of years. This didn't happen yesterday. It's slowly been taken away from us. And we just we're too busy, too lazy, too engulfed to realize it was being taken away from us. Walmart and Elon Musk and all these, they didn't get to where they are yesterday. They didn't, this has been years in the making. And so we've got to take back our power, our collective power, but we can't do that unless we come together. So.
Amazing. Sorry, I had to mute somebody in the chat who was spitting some misinformation, and I don't play with that. As I said before, just a reminder for everyone in the chat, trolls, hecklers, and bad faith actors, immediate ejection, no refunds, no regrets, no quarter. Okay? So be nice, or you'll be shushed, maybe even booted, and I would hate that for you. That would be so uncomfortable. So, amazing. Thank you, Marla, for that. I love what you are doing, and I can't wait to hear more about all of your food drives and stuff. Can you talk a little bit about? I heard something, and I don't know if it's true or not. So maybe you can educate me, if you will. But I understood that countries overseas are having to feed our military because they're not getting what they need from.
Yeah. So here's the thing about living OCONUS, right? Living outside the country, it's remote, right? We don't have a lot of access to things. So when our government in America shuts down, they're who providing for our military overseas, right? So a lot of our food in the commissary actually comes from America. A lot of our meat, unfortunately, is flash frozen from here and sent over there into our commissaries. And so when we don't have what we need here, we are lacking over there. I lived in Germany many years ago, and luckily we had great individuals, great community, great sense of community, great businesses that would step up and support us. Because at the end of the day, military towns often are the economic backbone of wherever we are, depending on what your location is. Sometimes there are hundreds of thousands of people in that community that are transplanted there specifically because of the military. And so without those hundreds of thousands of people, that community wouldn't be thriving in the way that it is. And so a lot of overseas places, they all understand that. They understand that. And we bring an increase in their economic status in their community. So they're going to do what they can to support us. And so absolutely, especially in Germany, Germany is a very, very, very friendly place towards I'm going to say that because I live there, all of my friends have lived there, and it's just been a great place for all of us. And they truly support their service members there. They truly support American service members in Germany. There are a lot of military bases in Germany. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but we're in every country almost. We're everywhere. And so there's so many bases in Germany. And so they are grateful to have our support. But we're also grateful for theirs. And so absolutely, they are definitely supporting us in this fight. Are you on mute, Jess?
I'm talking like I'm not on mute. That's never happened before. It's going to happen again probably in about 10 minutes. Mara, I was going to ask if you wanted to add anything there, because you're a veteran as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I did 26 years. So, we got right now, I don't even know where the hell to begin. I mean, let's look at all, okay? I mean, let's look at all the ones that we're deploying from our reserve and National Guard units. And then and you look at taking, and they're saying they're going to keep them out there till February, and they have civilian jobs at home. They are teachers, they're lawyers, they're doctors, they're everything within the community. And it makes it harder for wherever they left. You know what I'm saying? And then for them to be away from their families to do what? To do landscaping. I mean, that is just incredible. And then we're going to take it to another whole level. And I don't know how many people here are in the military, but I'm so concerned about what's going on with Hegseth. Okay, everything he is doing, especially what we see happening in South America, when they are taking away the leadership, the senior leadership, those were the ones that, were part of the guardrails. They were the moral compass. They were the Mark Millies. Okay, we don't have them. Then we take away all our legal guys. And, because he talks about empowering the war fighter. But what he's doing is he's making sure that there is no transparency as to what they are doing. And it's opening the ways of more, if we were going to war, we would then have war crimes. But then we've got just crimes against humanity. You look at how he has had those committed of war crimes pardoned. So this is not giving me a good feeling as to the direction that our military is going in. So, but going back to what's happening to the others, being closed down, and are they going to be fed, and are they going to be clothed? And okay, now we got them taking over our housing was it DC? What in the hell? That's prime time. So our guys are out in the middle of where, trying to make ends meet in a hotel, because the waiting list is like 18, 20 months to get in there. And we're putting these knuckleheads in there on our dime. So anyways, you asked, I just gave it to you.
Amazing. Thank you. Kayla, I'm going to drop you and borrow your box real quick. Mims, welcome to the panel. Do you want to introduce yourself and tell us what you got going on?
Hi, good evening, everybody. It's good to see you, Mara. It's good to see you, William. I don't know everybody else, but good evening. My name is Make It Make Sense, because obviously it does not make sense at this moment in time in history. I feel like everything is convoluted and upside down. So it's just I'm just like trying to say, where is sense in this regime right now? But I just wanted to thank you, Jess, for allowing me to come up. I represent Blue Sioux organization, and just a little synopsis about us is we are definitely an organization that cares about democracy, right? We want to make sure that we get progressive candidates like Maura, like William, into office. We are here to help with canvassing as well as phone banking to assist these candidates go over the finish line. We assisted many candidates in Virginia, including Abigail, Chisala, Jay Jones, and got them elected. On top of that, we assisted delegates like Nicole Cole and Josh Cole to get elected and reelected in Virginia. We assisted with New Jersey's Mickey Sherrill and helped her get elected with doing phone banking and text banking, and also social media posts. So that's what our goal is to make sure that we assist with progressive candidates in any which way we can, whether it be with our time or with funds or with pushing out their social media. So that's what we're about. Could you hear me? Okay, good.
I'm muted again. I told you it was going to happen. I told you it was going to happen again. Yes. Can you tell us who you are going to be phone banking for? Coming up here soon.
Could you guys hear the rest of what I said by any chance?
Mm-hmm. Did I miss it? I was typing at the same time, and I have raging ADHD. So
I don't know, but I feel like all of a sudden it went mute. So I'm not 100% sure if you heard the last part, that we're looking for people to help, to contribute with their time and their energy to assist with phone banking or boots on the ground with canvassing. So we'd really love for people to join the community. We have a website, it's bluesue.org. We also have a Discord that we would love for you to join so that you can, we train you. We hold your hand while phone banking so that you don't feel alone and you don't feel uncomfortable. Or we sit and we laugh about the conversations that we just had, or, regale about the time that, somebody told us that, they didn't understand why we were calling, or they didn't, have a little bit of a giggle and a little bit of a fun time. So we are looking for people to help us. And if you think that you are not going to be able to be helpful, you're wrong in that. Definitely wrong, because look what we were able to do in Virginia alone. We were able to flip seats. We were able to make a difference, and we were able to get our delegates in place. So yes, we are going to be phone banking for the wonderful, amazing Afton Ben, and she's running for her seat in December 2nd. And I'm sorry, there's like a beeping going off in the background. I hope you guys don't hear that, but so I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
amazing. Thank you, Mims.
Piggyback off that just for a second.
Absolutely.
Okay, Afton is she is in Tennessee. And also, Mims, do you have the numbers, the phone banking numbers and the percentage? I just want to highlight the percentage of people who phone banked for Virginia and New Jersey were new people. I mean, the percentage was crazy of new people who got on the phone and just started calling people to get them out to vote, remind them that they have an election, remind them that early voting has started, whatever they needed to know. But yes, the numbers, the call numbers and the percentage of the volunteers, it was amazing.
Yes, thank you, Lib, for bringing that up, because I almost glossed over that for a second. Now, we partner with Indivisible, and they assist with, giving us the access to Scale to Win. And we, just in Virginia, there were 600 Indivisible members that joined in weekly phone banks, and we called over 420,000 Virginia voters. And more than 40% of our phone bankers were first-time callers. First time, just like Lib. Lib was very skeptical. She's like, Mims, you got to hold my hand, and you're a pro now. Lib, she was hosting phone banking night sessions, so she'll definitely is gonna be able to do some training as well. And texting, we sent over 550,000 texts throughout Virginia. Our digital reach was over 700,000 people. We had over 460 canvassers throughout Virginia. Now, these are the numbers that I have for Virginia. Unfortunately, I don't have the ones for New Jersey because obviously I'm not an indivisible, I'm not privy to that information just because I'm part of Virginia Indivisible. But isn't that amazing? That's amazing. And if people keep on thinking that it's not going to matter and it doesn't count, right? Most of the people that we talked to, they didn't even they didn't realize that there was a election coming November 2nd. By us calling them and Lib and Kels and all the people that joined the phone banking sessions saying, you know what, your election matters so much that we need you guys to get out to vote. It was incredibly impactful because I was a poll observer the day of election. And do you have any idea how many people came out and said, you know what, somebody called me and that's why I'm here. So just keep that in mind.
Awesome. And we will be phone banking for you all. Okay? You all are running. We are going to be in the fight with you. We are going to be phone banking for you. You know, we've got Afton Ben coming up. Is it Bryn? Afton Ben?
Afton Ben, yeah.
Tennessee. Yes, in Tennessee. December 2nd, we're starting boots on the, I say boots on the ground, but phones in the hands on Monday, you know.
It works. It's applicable.
Yes.
And
That's what we do.
Just
That's
to
what
kind of
we're going
piggyback
for.
onto what they're talking about, I had never phone banked before. And again, raging ADHD, super high anxiety all the time. If my phone rings, I'm wondering who died or what bills I owe. You know, like there's no the art of the conversation, it has been lost as a society. And I talk about the silos that we build for ourselves all the time, right? And this is the time that we have to get out of our silos and get out of our comfort zone and do something to help our communities out. Phone banking is a wonderful, wonderful example of that. I was terrified, absolutely terrified. And the first night that I decided to do phone banking, it was for New Jersey. That may have been a mistake. But it was great, and it made me more confident. When I went to do phone banking for California, it was an absolute breeze, and it is so much easier talking to these people than it is to fight with people over TikTok. You know, you get on these panels and it's just chaos. And the thing about phone banking too is that when you're calling these people, you're calling Democrats. You're calling people who are already aligned with you. They just need a little extra, you know, just a little extra something. So don't be afraid to do it. And go to bluesue.org and throw in your hat. It's fun. And we get to talk about the amazing adventures we had afterwards. So it's very cool. Hello, Fabulous Finds. My friend V. Can you, before I ask you a question, V, Mara, I'm so sorry. I'll get it right eventually. There's so many vowels. Can you tell us, because there is such a frustration and such a struggle with what is happening with our veterans right now, can you tell us what we can do to help? How do we help? Aside from the obvious. You know, voting. But what can we do?
Well, it's really talking to your Congress people because there's a lot of things that are still in the works. Like they had a hearing the other day in the Senate, and there is discussion about reducing veterans' benefits, and that's something we can't lose sight of. And then the way they're trying to, privatize some of the veteran services. We got to pay attention to that because our rural areas do not have what they need if we privatize it. And then we lose oversight. That's the other big thing, is we'll lose that oversight. And so we can't validate that that our veterans are going to be getting that continuity of care. And when some of our veterans are seeing various specialists in the civilian community, those doctors are not going to be calling each other when we have a system where they can go in and see everything that's happening. So they're talking about ways, saving money. So like right now, it's just to stay on your Congress people that do not diminish the care or the resources or the benefits that our service members deserve.
And veterans already struggle with that, right? Like they're already, for lack of a better term, being totally shit upon once they leave service.
Yeah. So many of them lost their jobs, because they had, that's a huge number. And this administration is still looking at reducing it down to 2019. And the thing is, we were already short people at the VA, because I worked at the Atlanta VA in nuclear medicine. So that's the thing. It took me 10 months to get hired, when I could get hired, at various other hospitals in 3 weeks. So we were short. And then what do we do after DOGE comes on in, and it just slashes all these positions? So now you want to take it back to 2019. And we have had such an influx of like over 700,000 additional veterans just because of the PACT Act. And so we do not have enough personnel resources. So we've just got to keep our eye on it, and we just got to keep on fighting for our vets.
Scotty asks, how are these ICE agents being federally vetted in such a short time? And they're not being vetted, Scotty.
No.
They're not being vetted at all. Yes, it's upsetting. So let's switch gears a little bit. I want to sort of switch over to my friend V, because I want to talk to you guys. You are also an important community member. Hi, Susan. A very important community member, somebody who's a mover and shaker, somebody who inspires people every single day. And it is so incredibly important that we do not lose the momentum that we have gained. Now, you are a fellow Texan with me, so you're sad, but happy, but sad. I really feel like everybody deserves to have a Mom Donnie moment. We are lacking that severely here in Texas. So tell me what, absolutely not TRX. You're in the wrong room, bud. Tell me what you do, and tell me how it started, and tell me what you are going to continue to do to inspire people to participate in what we're going on here.
So thank you, Jazz. So I love being part of this community. And so one of the things that I was Tuesday was fantastic. I literally cried when the first poll came back, and we knew that Virginia had won. Went to a blue seat. And then when, the very next one was New Jersey. And then I was just like, by the time that Mom Donnie came around, I was a blubbering idiot. Like I couldn't, it was just a lot. And the emotion, I think in general, and I guess I'm getting to that, is the emotion is that we have all been traumatized for the last 11 months. And it has been literal, like, I can't even imagine what some of the people that are getting snatched up by ICE are going through when we haven't even been through that type of trauma. And the trauma that we feel is just so impactful. I got up even still the next morning and still cried because of everything that we've gone through. And I know that is their intention, is to literally try to go ahead and break us down as far as they possibly can to where we feel hopeless. But the point of that is to make us feel hopeless, and we have to continue to fight that every single day. It is very hard to be able to get up in front of people every single day and talk to people and have people like, the trolls that come into this room and are trying to tell us that, the orange orangutan is the best president on the planet, because he's not. He is absolutely, he's falling asleep in front of like the whole world in meetings. There was 20 people behind him, and he's like having a nap. Like, what the fuck?
If
So-
that was Biden, they would have lost.
Oh, and
their
that's the other
ever-loving
thing.
minds.
Yes, and that's the other thing is that this administration, the the media, nobody really calls out what's going on with this man, and I don't understand it other than there has got to be so many people on that list that are afraid to speak out against this man, and there's some things that I can't even say in here that I know to be true in my heart. So. When I started to do what it is that we do, myself and Not Your Merch, which is this account that's right next to me over here, that's my daughter. And I've owned a business for over 30 years, and I sold that business. And then I started to do like affiliate marketing here on TikTok. And when the shirts came out where they were doing things like, Chinga tu Maga and stuff like that, I bought some bold political merchandise, and I thought, okay, I'm going to make videos about this. And I knew that it was an unpopular thing because I did it back in like February of this past year. And at that time, it was highly unpopular. Even though people felt that way, they were so scared to actually speak it and much less wear it on their shirt. Because what we've seen from the right over and over and over again is that they're not afraid to go ahead and spew whatever rhetoric they want to go ahead and spew, at the point of just horrific hate. And so I too was a little bit intimidated by that. And I knew that when I did that, because I was doing affiliate marketing, that I would probably lose a huge part of my customer base, because my customer base for affiliate marketing was both right and left. So, but I was willing to take that risk because doing the right thing is doing the right thing and you're going to lose some friends and other people along the way, but I'm okay with that if I'm on the right side of history. So when I made that decision, I did lose even people that don't speak to me. They've actually unfriended me, all the things. And I'm okay with that because honestly, the timeline that we're in right now has truly shown me what people are truly made of and who is actually on the right side of history and who I really want to be associated with. I never knew, specifically being, a Hispanic woman, I never knew how much I knew racism was out there, and I had been subject to it many times. My daughter was subject to it just, 6, 7, 8 months ago. I don't remember, not that long ago, about a year ago, she was subject to it too, where she was serving somebody and they didn't want her to serve them simply because of the color of her skin. And so, living in Texas, I don't necessarily, especially in the Metroplex, it is a mecca of just all kinds of different people. And knowing that it's still going on in such a way, and now knowing that this man who literally speaks it from the bottom down is making it to where it's just so normalized. And I think that a lot of people are not calling it out enough to where it becomes more and more normal because they're like, oh, that's just how he talks. Oh, that's just how he is. Oh, Mr. Trump, ha, ha, ha. Like they think that it is okay, and there's nothing okay about that. And because of that, that's why I decided to go ahead and do this. And when I made my first shirt, when we did our first shirt, I think for this one company that I bought it from, I sold like 3,000 shirts for her, like in the matter of a month, because people were itching for that kind of stuff. So I'm like, okay, something's going on here. But I stopped actually supporting her because she was actually selling right and left. And for me, it is a movement. I don't sway based on the dollar. This for us, like for my daughter and myself, it is a movement. And I had a lot of people say, well, why don't you just sell for both parties? And I'm like, because I have a soul. That's why. Like, I'm not going to sell for the other side because this is a movement. It's not about the dollar. Yeah, I need to make money because I'm going to make a business out of it. But I also have conscience, and I could not possibly do that for a buck. Like, that's not what this is about. So when we started making our shirts, literally from the time that we opened up our shop to just a week later, we were maxing out on how many shirts we could sell a week. I mean, a day, not a week, a day. And we were selling like 50 shirts a day. And because you're a new shop, they limit you and all that kind of stuff. As time went on and we started advertising our business, what we found was that people were looking for some place that they could feel like they could do the things that wearing their full First Amendment right on their chest and then being able to find other people that were like that. So what I've seen and what I've had people tell me is that because of the shirts and because I go on in front of people every single day, I go online and I share my shirts and trolls come in here, and I'll be honest with you, my life has been threatened on my lives many times. Some people have said the most vile things to me on my lives. Luckily, I have fantastic moderators in our lives, and we try to keep it as almost daily. And we get private messages and we get all of the most horrific things, and they think that it is okay for them to do that kind of stuff. And it would be really easy for me to just say like, oh my gosh, this is just too much. And it is a lot. I'll tell you that it is really hard to get in front of people that spew hate at you every single day. But what's harder is the fact that if I don't do things like this, if I don't stand up and I don't speak my First Amendment right, and I don't let them know that we are not afraid of them, that it's going to be harder for us later on, because I won't have the right to get up and speak my First Amendment right if we continue to be silent. And the one thing about, the right is that they do so well is that they're able to go ahead and spew or talk. And we have never been good at making sure that we are up and front and center and saying the things that we need to do. We keep playing by the rules. The rules don't apply anymore. And the people that are in Congress right now, specifically the ones that are older, that need to go ahead and walk off the floor like Mitch McConnell, that has to be held by both people to even get up to the floor. That is effing insane to me. Like, where are the term limits? Like, where are all these things that need to happen? It's absolutely disgusting. And I'm really glad that Nancy Pelosi, decided to retire. But honestly, she should have been gone a long time ago. She's 85. We need younger people like Mamdani, people that have new ideas and are actually living in the world that we live in right now. They're the ones that are going to be affected by decisions that are being made right now. And so these people need, I feel like it's kind of like the teachers, they need to retire. They have, 15 years in Congress or whatever the number is, or until they reach the age of 65, real retirement age. And that's it. Like, you're gone. Either you've been there 15 years or you're 65, one or the other, and you're out. Because that's kind of what's actually happening here. Unfortunately, in Texas, the rolling trick is going to go into his fourth term if he wins again. And honestly, Jess, with every fiber of my being, I know that all 17 propositions passed, and it was absolutely disheartening and disgusting, but I honestly think that there was something seriously wrong with that election, or with that poll, because you cannot tell me in all the times that I've gone to go vote for the last 30 years or 35 years or whatever, that I've gone to go vote, that there was lines that I have never seen before, that those things would have passed the way that they passed, because people were out in Texas pissed off. And I looked at those numbers, and those numbers did not reflect, every person that I spoke to in line, every single person was against what was happening. And how can you tell me that all 17 of those passed with double digits? There's no effing way. There's no way. So there's something seriously wrong in Texas. And this man is going to continue to hold on to it because he gives his billionaire friends, breaks. And the thing here in Texas, honestly believe with every fiber of my being that Texas truly is blue, but something's been done about that. And there are no term limits here in Texas. And this will continue on over and over again until something's done about it. So, so part of the reason that we started this business is because people come up to us and say, thank you so much for speaking out. Thank you so much for being a voice. Thank you so much for getting in front of these people. And over the course of the last 6 months, or now 8 months, I think it is, that my daughter and I've had our shop, people come into our lives and say, I feel so much more comfortable wearing my shirts now because of you. Because there are so many people that I see. There's people, I see your shirts out now. And when I see another person wearing a shirt like the one that you're wearing, it makes me feel more comfortable. I feel a sense of I'm not alone. And I think that's what's been happening, is that we've all been in our silos, literally suffering in silence with everything that's going on around us. And because we're not good at speaking out against what's actually happening, we feel like we're alone until we have a march, or until we do this, until we do that. But I don't feel like we're doing even that enough. We should be going out like what they do over in Portland and Chicago. We should be out there all the time. All the time. I think that the great big marches are fantastic, and it's a way for us to continue to see each other, because it goes across. Whenever we have a No Kings it's across the world. It's not just here in the United States, it's across the world. And that's an amazing thing to see. But I think that we need to be even stronger and even louder in what it is that we're doing. And now that they're seeing that, and what happened on Tuesday is evident of what's actually going on, everything that we've been doing, even though we've been doing it maybe a little more demure than, the red hats do it, we do it peacefully. We do it in a way, we're still very strong. And I don't think they truly understand. They think that they're the only ones that own a pew pew. Like, I'm in Texas. I have at least.
I know what she was trying to say. You participate in
Yeah, I mean,
2A.
I partake in like 20 different kinds. So, I don't think that they understand that they're poking a bear that truly is a gentle giant and believes in rights and equality for all. And just because we believe in those things doesn't make us weaker, but we have been very, very just not combative enough in what it is that we want as a society. And we need to start being more combative. And the days of being polite and playing by the rules, unfortunately, are gone. It's very unfortunate, but compassion in the United States and actually across the world has been lost. And I don't know when it's coming back and if it's ever coming back, but we have to continue to fight for that. And I think we're making, really great strides in making sure that happens. And so that's why when I see grassroots candidates like the ones that won, over on Tuesday, and we just saw them sweep across the United States, it's amazing. But we have a long way to go in terms of, being able to get to where we need to be, because the midterms are a year away and anything can happen. Although I don't think that Kanks is going to last, another 4 months, honestly, at the rate that he's going. But then we still have to deal with JD Vance and all of those guys. But honestly, once that falls, it's all going to crumble. It's not going to last past that man. It's just not. He's just not strong enough. The cult is going to break apart whenever it is that man's gone. Personally, that's my true belief. That's what I pray for every night anyway.
Blood clot, do your thing.
Right? Come on, blood clot 2025.
Come on, blood clot. Yes. So, William, do you notice in Kentucky that you have the same sort of challenges that we're experiencing here in Texas, or do you have a different kind of climate out there?
If you would have asked me about 2 years ago, yes, but it's shifting here. Especially since we're seeing our governor moving more towards a national audience. We're starting to see more people stepping up. We're starting to see we have 120 counties, and the rural council that I'm in charge of has gotten it down to about 11 inactive counties with the Democratic Party. We're just starting to see people fed up here in our rural areas that has not seen any movement, and they're standing up and fighting back as local unions like to chant if they're protesting. So it's very invigorating. And a lot of people I know that Kells and Southern and Mims have said multiple times that Kentucky is showing up. Kentucky is standing up and fighting loudly back.
And that's what has to happen. We just have to keep on talking and fighting back. Like at every corner, we can't let them get away with one single thing, because you give them an inch and they take a mile.
Exactly.
I will say this for Nancy Pelosi though. She's ancient. But the things that woman did for women in leadership, the things that she did to pave the way for other women in government,
No, I agree.
were amazing. And both things can be true at the same time.
Yes.
She is an incredibly talented legislator, somebody who gave her whole life to serve. But it's been time for her to pass the torch. And no disrespect to her whatsoever, but she deserves a wonderful retirement. And it's time for us young people to take up the mantle. So, but yeah, absolutely ancient. I'm sure she has a million grandkids that she is so excited to be able to spoil on a regular
Girl, she's
basis.
got great grandchildren. What you talking about?
Exactly. So William, remind me who you're sending. It's Rand Paul, right? And Mitch McConnell are your senators?
Unfortunately, I didn't vote for either of them.
Oh,
Anytime I-
shocking.
but yes, they're both our senators.
Do you
Yes,
feel
and Mitch McConnell has been a senator since as old as William is, his entire
yeah.
life.
Yeah,
really?
this month I'll be 32 this month, and in my entire life he's been up there.
He's been here almost 40 years, and I'm 50. So I was a very young child when he was elected senator of Kentucky.
So, what do you guys feel like the answer is for Kentucky to start getting more progressive ideals? I know it's starting to swing, but what are you guys doing to just give it that extra push? Aside from
Um,
running for office, William, because that's very important. But
when you're talking about the Senate seat, I think the fact that the chaos this current administration is doing, especially on our farmers, we're seeing them hurting our soybean farmers, our cattle farmers, with all of the tariffs, with giving money to Argentina and Venezuela and leaving our farmers high and dry. We're seeing these massive cuts to Medicaid and Medicare, which for my district, I'm in the 2nd congressional district. I'm running against the man who is in charge of the Medicaid cuts, Brett Guthrie, hurting healthcare for our rural communities, and then the SNAP benefits that we've seen, the issue, which everything goes according to plan. I thank that federal judge, the good McConnell, for making sure that they're trying to give the SNAP payments in full. But all of those combined with the Democratic Party here saying the same message of we're fighting to make things more affordable. We're fighting to make sure you have health care. We're fighting to make sure that you have better jobs, good paying jobs. All of those things that we saw that helped bring New Jersey and Virginia wins, we're talking about here is resonating with the people, that Bashir is talking about on the national stage. It's just going to create this perfect storm to flip all of these seats here.
So why is it that he just kept getting reelected, McConnell? Like, why did they keep doing that? Is because there was nobody else running against him?
Money. There's a couple reasons. Money's a big one.
Always.
If I remember correctly, in his last election, it was over $65 million he spent on his race. Billboards everywhere, TV ads everywhere. He made the impression he was in Kentucky everywhere, even though he wasn't. The fact that he had power as the Senate Majority Leader, a lot of Kentuckians thought, well, he has power, he's going to be able to fight for us. And every once in a while, he did just enough to give people crumbs. And then after that, it was just himself he was fighting for. And then I'll just be completely blunt. I don't know if I can say this word actually on TikTok. It's the fact that the last 2 times that he ran against a female candidate. And so you can guess the word I was going to say. Again, I don't know if I can say it.
Misogyny.
A little bit of that, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we have to take that into account as well. And
That's
I think
crazy.
all of that combined is why he kept winning.
And if I can piggyback off that, William, I want to say that here in Eastern Kentucky, where I'm from, all he would have to do is utter the words coal. Coal, coal, coal. He is bringing coal back to Eastern Kentucky. And y'all, coal has been moving out of Eastern Kentucky since the 80s. Slowly, but I mean, I've witnessed it. I've lived here most all my life. But the man can come in and utter those words for, I'm sorry, deplorables that live here, that surround me. He utters those words, and they are like, because a lot of these boys, that's all they know. That's all they know is the coal mines. They grew up with grandparents who were great grandparents, dad. I mean, it's just a tradition, and and when you've got somebody as powerful as, I call him Turtle McConnell, He comes in and he just utters these words and they fall for it. And the misogyny, yes, exactly. And Amy McGrath is running again. Oh, sweet baby Jesus.
Can I jump in and throw in a different perspective? Because I'm not a candidate. I've worked in politics and in journalism for quite some time. And here's the thing, like Southern was just saying, there's this nostalgia that we have, right? And nostalgia always isn't a good thing. Our brains create stories that make us feel good. And a lot of times our brains will tell us, I remember when, and then we create this romanticized story of what life was like. That wasn't true. During the Great Depression was horrible, right? During the coal mining days was horrible. People were very sick. It was not a good time for people. But yet, for some reason, there has been an idea that we're going to allow you to maintain the status quo if you keep electing us. These people are not running for vacant seats. There has been somebody running against Nancy Pelosi, against McConnell every single time. But here's the thing. They have name recognition and you don't. And that's what money does. And this is what I tell every candidate that I talk to when they come into races is you need to build a name for yourself first. You need to make as much money as you can and build the biggest name you can first. And people don't understand that who aren't well versed in politics, which most people in America aren't. Less than 6% of people are actually well versed in politics. And so the thing is, people will see people like Mar or William and say, well, what's your policy? What's this? What's that? That doesn't really matter. You don't care. Because if you see Mitch McConnell on a cereal box, you're going to vote for him just because he's Mitch McConnell. You see Nancy Pelosi, you're going to vote for her just because she's Nancy Pelosi. There have been amazing candidates that have run against these people that cannot get a foot in the door because, again, people are beholden to those who pay them. If AIPAC is paying them, they're beholden to AIPAC. If big corporations are paying them, they're beholden to big corporations. If their community is paying them, then they are beholden to their community. We cannot sit back and say, I want you to win, but I'm not going to do anything for you to win. And then get mad when you win and you're not representing us. We have to make sure that they're representing us, but we can't do it. Unfortunately, they can't do it for free. And I get it. Everybody's like, everybody wants money. But unfortunately, there's a lot of money in politics, and Republicans just shut down the idea, especially here in Florida, that to put a cap on campaign spending. They don't want to put a cap on campaign spending. You know why? Because they have unlimited amount of money. They can get all the money they want. And these grassroots candidates are raising $100,000 to somebody's $20 million. They spent $22 million, not Mondami's campaign, not Cuomo's campaign, not Adams' campaign, not Sliwa's campaign, but outside PAC spent $22 million going against Mondami for the fuck of it. Just because. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So when you have somebody like Mara with $100,000 or William with $20,000, they have no fucking chance unless we push them through the finish line. And that is through phone banking. I promise you, I hate phone banking. I'm not going to lie. But I work at a political organization, and when they say all hands on deck, we got to do what we got to do, right? But I do it because I know what's at stake. I know what's important. If I don't have money, then I got to donate my time. I have to. Yeah. I cannot sit back and talk crap about these individuals if I'm not willing to do what it takes to make my community a better place. And I think that's really important. But I think we also have to stop going. We need to stop saying washing the crap. Stop saying washing it. I just wrote an article about that on my Substack because I heard Aaron Parnas talking about saying washing the news that we're getting. Stop normalizing this crap. Stop feeding into it. Just say, no, this is not okay. This is unsafe. It's very dangerous for all of us. Mm-hmm. And we need to make sure we keep saying that over and over, because the more we sit back, the more we think it's funny when we look at the White House TikTok page. We're like, oh, look at the AI. That shit is not funny.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Because the people who are going to be most impacted are going to be marginalized community members, are going to be those veterans. We talk so much crap about veterans, but guess what? If something were to come down today and say, everybody put your money in for veterans, guess what's going to happen? Nothing. You know why? Because people don't care. We verbally express our concern, but when it comes time to do the work, we don't do it. We don't roll up our sleeves and make sure our veterans have meals. We don't go to these city council meetings advocating for our budgets in our communities and for VA support. We don't do that. But yet when the things don't happen for us, we have a problem. We have a problem. People say, well, you know what? I don't understand why the city just passed this huge veterinary hospital. Because you know why? Because those fucking dog moms showed up to city council. That's why. If you want something passed, you got to take your butt down there and advocate for it. If you want your schools to be a better place, you got to go to those school board meetings. The school board meetings got 2 fucking people in it. I'm sorry, Jess, I got a bad mouth.
No, I do too. It's fine.
When the public comes out, if you've ever sat in city council meetings, if you've ever sat in some school board meetings, no one shows up. And they're wondering, oh, well, I wonder why they don't care about us. You're not saying anything. You're talking to us on TikTok.
Right.
Go to them. Go to your leadership and say what your community needs. You cannot be mad. And so when we look at all that's happened this week with Mondami for me was not the biggest win at all. Everybody's like, Mondani. Guess what? Colorado gets the big W for me. Colorado gets the big W because while we're talking about electing the man that will implement socialist policies, Colorado did it already. Colorado taxed the wealthy and made all of their school meals free for everybody.
Yeah, that was just this. When did they make that announcement?
That was this week. They voted.
Yeah, I remember that, which was freaking amazing.
Yes, it is amazing. And when we're talking about states like Georgia and Kentucky, Georgia, your leadership says it's okay for you to make $5 an hour minimum wage. Your leadership. So whenever you go vote, remember you're the problem. Because why are they making $5 an hour should be illegal in the United States of America? Who are we voting in that's continuing to allow this? Those people should have been gone. Marjorie Taylor Greene, anybody that's there that knows that everybody knows that your minimum wage is $5 an hour. Everyone knows this. Why are y'all okay with that? Because if you haven't, and I'm sorry, I'm a radical. I watch the videos where they go knock on the White House door or the Prime Minister's door or whoever around the world, and they say, you know what, your time's up. Let's go. Just pull them out the house. Pull them out the house. You're done. You're done. Can we get mad? Can we get that mad?
We need that energy.
100%.
Us fussing on TikTok is not doing it. It's not doing it. There's people like me, people like Mara, people like William, who work in the space, who do the things every single day. When my organization is serving 1,000 military families, there's a problem with that.
Yeah.
I don't get paid for this. I don't want to have a nonprofit serving unhoused veterans. I don't. I have a job. I got to go to work. I'm tired.
Yeah.
But I'm doing this because there is a need in my community. There has been a need since before the shutdown. There has been a need for years. There has been a need since Vietnam. There's been a need before this. And we're just making the problem bigger. We can talk about the need for veterans and military families and marginalized communities, but until we get out there and do the real work, it's gonna maintain. We're gonna maintain the problem because we're complacent. And that's all of us. Everybody on this panel. We're not kicking indoors.
Yeah. No, you're 100% correct. One of the other things, you're right about, not doing the work and talking about just going on TikTok and talking about it. That is a huge part of what it is that we need to do. And I think that in the past, because a lot of people have been trying to play by the rules and do the right thing and all of the things that you were talking about, and we're not going there and literally grabbing them by the hair and saying, your fucking time's over. Like, you're out, dude. Like, you had a minute and you screwed it up. One of the things that, I don't know if you guys know who Christina Talks Tea is. Do you guys know who she is here on TikTok? Okay, well, we have a collaboration with Christina. She's absolutely amazing, and she comes on here and she gives her political tea in the most fantastical way. And she decided that she was going to go ahead and do some of the work. She does some of the things where she goes out and she does community work and all of that. But again, not our responsibility, right? We shouldn't have to be doing that. Our government, being the richest country, should be able to supply all of the people with the things that they need. I don't know why it is that we have to choose between healthcare and eating, like all of the things. And one of the things that she decided to do was go out to, and I don't remember which candidate she said, but she said that she went out and said, hey, I can volunteer my time and I can make videos for her. And they said, that's great. we want to go ahead and like take a look at your profile. And once we look at your profile, we'll go ahead and get back with you. And they came back and said, yeah, you're too radical for us. Too radical? Because she speaks the truth and she doesn't sugarcoat it and puts a little cherry on top? You don't want her to speak the truth about what's going on because she's extremely honest to the point where, you know, we all said really nice things about Pelosi. And she did a lot of amazing things. I'm not going to discredit her for the things that she did, but there were some things that were questionable and she will call that shit out. Whether you're on the right or the left, she's left all the way. But if she thinks that you're doing something that is not above bar, she's going to call you out on it. And that's what needs to happen, is that we need to hold everybody accountable regardless of the party. It was just like when I made a video the other day and I said, you know, everybody should be fact checking a person when they go up and they talk about whatever's going on in government. I don't care if you're on the right or on the left. Fucking fact check those people. Because if we cannot trust what's actually coming out of their mouth, how do we know what's really going on? And for me, that whole thing is mind blowing to me. One of the things that I taught my kids from the very time that they were itty bitty, and my children can come on here and tell you them themselves. They would tell me like, Mom, are we a Republican or are we Democrat? And I'm like, you know what? I've always been left leaning my whole life. But if I ever thought that there was a right candidate, like a red candidate that was better suited for the job, I would choose a red candidate if I truly believed that they were the best person for the job. But what we've been doing is literally literally choosing blue, even though they might not be the right one, because they're better than the right in terms of they're the less of two evils. And we have to start having higher standards for what we're putting forth. And that just continues to happen more and more often. I see that. But right now we have, just like you said, Maria, we have had amazing candidates, but because they have more money, they don't have a chance in hell. And that's bullshit.
It's Marla V.
Marla.
Yeah, this is.
Hold on.
Looks like an eye. I know. It's so old lady.
What is
That's
it?
old
What
lady
does that
eyes.
say right there? I can't see.
I'm sure. I'm. If you're anything like me, Marla, you've been called worse. On a daily. So.
Sorry, Marla.
No, everybody. It's my last name, so everybody calls me Maria because they say Bautista. So it's just automatically people say Maria. Fun fact: that's my mother-in-law's name. So
interesting.
I called somebody. I called somebody a different name. Her name was Marlo the whole time, and I was calling her probably Maria for like 3 months on my life. And finally, she corrected me. I'm like, "Why didn't you ever say anything to me?" She's like, "It's okay. I answered to it anyway."
So funny. Just don't call me late for dinner. That's all.
Right.
How funny. So Chelsea, let's talk a little bit about. Sure, no worries. And everybody can participate here. Let's talk a little bit about what we can do, especially here in Texas. Some ideas that we have going forward, and of course these things can be implemented nationwide. Like I said, everybody deserves to have that 4-letter H word, just sitting ever so comfortably in the cockles of our chests. Okay. So some of the things that we should be doing is we need to look at funding our infrastructure, not just the candidates. So we need voter registration drives, data tools, multilingual outreach, not just flashy ads. We need to run bold, authentic candidates like Mara and William here. Tons of people that we have on our show on a regular basis. We also need to get involved in our local election processes. And Chelsea, I would love for you to talk to me more about what that looks like and how we can inspire people to do more of that. Because I will tell you, I went to go vote on Tuesday, and I went into my local area here in the rural Texas. There were about 10 poll workers, all of them over the age of 70. I brought my 10-year-old in there, and all of the little old ladies were like, "Thank you so much for bringing your daughter to vote." And I was like, if this is not a blaring sign that more young people need to be involved in this process, I don't know what is. So can you talk to us a little bit more about what that looks like and how we can do that?
Sure. So I do want to piggyback off of what everyone else has been kind of saying. Democracy is a participation sport. You cannot just show up to vote and expect things to just go your way. If you're not doing the work, if you're not participating, voting is the bare minimum. Voting is the bare minimum. We have to get involved, and especially at the local level. I'm a firm believer that change cannot really happen from the top down. The only way real substantial change happens is from the bottom up, and that has to start in your local politics. That being said, in Texas, especially in the rural areas like where I live and where Jess lives, Democrats aren't running. We're not a Republican state so much as these Republicans don't have anyone. We're not even playing the game in a lot of these places. Candidate filing opens tomorrow. And I guarantee you that there are a ton of things on the ballot that your Democratic chair does not have a candidate for. And I can say that as a Democratic chair that knows that there are a ton of things on the ballot that I do not have a candidate for. And if you want to make big changes, even on the big level, on the state or the federal level, you got to have that name recognition. You have to start at the bottom. So please run for office. That's the first step, is run for something local. There's a lot of things that you might not even realize are elected positions, like your county clerk, your tax assessor, things like that. Those are all things that you have to elect someone for. And I know here at home, nobody runs against these people. We've had the same people in office for 20 years because that's the way it is. And whenever people don't have competition, they get complacent, and it's easy for them to be corrupted whenever there's no accountability because there's no one running against them. So keep that in mind on your local level. I want to talk about the amendments for a minute. We got to celebrate our wins where we can get them, and we had some wins on the across the nation. We did have some wins at home too. Congressional District 18 had that special election, and 2 Democrats are going to the runoff. That's Christian Menifee and Amanda Edwards. I don't know when that runoff is going to be. God knows when Abbott's going to call it, because he should have called their special election in March. But 2 Democrats are going to the runoff there. That's Harris County. Then in Senate District 9, which is Tarrant County, which is Fort Worth. You guys may not know this, but Tarrant County is the last big county in the United States that is red. It is the last big one, and it flipped in 2020 to blue. It flipped back in 2024 to red. So they had a special election for the Senate district, and it's going to a runoff as well. And the Democrat actually got the most votes. The Democrat actually won that election, but he didn't get 50%. So that has to go to a runoff. If you're in Tarrant County, do what? Taylor Remick. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. If you're in Tarrant County, please do not miss out on that special election.
Don't sleep on that, guys. Very important.
Not at all, because the state legislature is so, so important, especially with everything that the state of Texas is trying to do and has been doing. Now, on to the amendments. I'm actually not surprised that they passed, and I'll tell you why. I'm a firm believer in accountability, and I believe that we, as the Democratic Party, dropped the ball in Texas when it comes to these amendments. That being said, I believe in accountability, but I also believe in explanations, not excuses, but explanations. We had a change in leadership at the beginning of the year. So our state chair for the last 12 years before this year was Hinojosa. And I will just say this about Hinojosa. At our last state convention, people literally were chanting, "You suck," to him. That's literal. So after the 2024 election, he threw the trans community under the bus. People called on him to resign, and he did. The SDEC had an election. They elected a new state chair. And the new state chair is putting in the work and trying to pick up the pieces. But with a change in leadership, it's always going to be rough in the beginning. That being said, we should have had a bit better handle on this. For one, we should have been knocking doors. I know people don't care about special, amendment elections, but this is a big deal. Like the Texas Constitution, they ask us to change it every 2 years and put 15 to 20 new amendments in our already 186 page long Constitution.
I didn't know it was that
It's-
long.
It is. In my opinion, they do this with things that could be legislated.
Yeah.
They do that though because it's harder to undo if it's in the Constitution. So we need to be treating every single election like it is the most important election ever, even constitutional amendments. We should have been knocking doors. We should have been letting people know what the amendments even meant, because a lot of people don't even understand the language that they use by design. So we should have done that. We should have had one cohesive message across the state, and we didn't. And that's just my opinion. I've had other people saying, they did it by county party. I understand, but it was just kind of a mess where different county parties were putting out their different recommendations and nobody really knew what to vote, how to vote. That being said, also, there is some accountability, like personal responsibility for that. If you are just voting the way that the Democratic Party is feeding you to vote, you're not doing your own research and you're not forming your own opinion. And I think that is a mistake. But we need to do that. In order to knock doors, though, this is the big thing. In order to knock doors, we need the boots on the ground. And that's the county chairs. And we've done some work over the year in filling some of the vacancies. We had 54 vacancies of county chairs at the beginning of the year. Out of 254, 54 were not filled. I think that they have filled 6 or 7 of those since then. It's not an easy thing to do, especially in the rural areas. More than county chairs, we need precinct chairs. Across Texas, there are 9,000 precincts. We've got 4,500 filled, and that's not good. Precinct chairs are the ones that get out in their own neighborhoods, and they're the ones that go and knock on the doors. Now, I'm not asking people to do our jobs for us, because we should be doing it. But we don't have the manpower to do it at the scale that we need to. And in order to flip this state, in order to even, get our claws in the ground, we're going to have precinct chairs. We need to be everywhere, even the rural areas. And that is my big thing, because in Texas, we've had candidates, and they're statewide candidates, that will only go to the more populated areas. The thing is, rural areas also vote, and they're more likely to vote for the people that show up. If you're not showing up in the rural areas, if they don't even know your name, if you haven't had a conversation with a chair in a rural area, you've lost. We are depending on rural votes too. The cities may be more populated, but rural areas are also populated. There's more rural areas. So we need candidates to show up. And I know a lot of people are sick of candidates just rolling around when they need money. And I get it. Like, they're sick of it. I understand that campaigning costs money. Absolutely. Getting to these places costs money. But you can't expect people to open up their pocketbooks if you have not developed some sort of trust with them. Speaking of trust, for the more rural areas like mine, like Jess, the Democratic Party, it's a bad word. Democrat's a bad word. We have to change our public perception. That should be the number one agenda for rural areas across Texas, is changing the public perception of Democrats. And maybe the United States too, the South. But we've got to change that public perception, and we have to build trust with our own communities by doing community service, by getting out there and being seen, doing good things for our local community. So I highly recommend, if you are not doing any community service, please get involved in some sort of community service and make sure people know that you're a Democrat. Kendall Scudder, our new chair, his number one thing that he wants people to do is be proud to be a Democrat in Texas. And I know that is a tall order. Oh, sorry, there's a moth. I know that's a tall order
sometimes, especially for people in the more rural areas. When I tell you, I have people that message me that they're terrified to be a Democrat in public. And I don't use that word lightly. They're scared. They're scared for their jobs. They're scared that their family is going to disown them. They're scared. We need to be able to change the public perception so much that they won't be, that they would be willing to come out and be the boots on the ground. That is the biggest takeaway from all of this jumbled mess that I'm telling you. We need more boots on the ground for Texas, especially with those big elections coming up in 2026.
Definitely. And I will say, yeah, go ahead, Marla.
I'm just going to allude to the fact of Elon Musk. And when you're talking about boots on the ground, even he knows how important that is. He's spending millions upon millions of dollars hiring canvassers for Donald Trump. And they ship them to different states to canvass for Donald Trump. So when you think that people are sitting back and doing social media posts, you don't win elections without canvassing and phone banking, period.
Yep. And honestly, I think that the biggest difference, I do think that phone banking does make a big difference, but I think going to people's doors and talking to them face to face and making a genuine face to face connection really makes a world of difference. And in order to do that, we need people doing that in their own neighborhoods. So it's not just me showing up across town where nobody knows who I am. It's me going next door and down the street and be like, hey, you know me, I live down here at the end of the cul-de-sac. Let's talk about this for a minute. That's what we need. We need people being willing to talk to their neighbors about everything.
Can I piggyback on something too? Oh, sorry, Maura.
No, go for it.
Something that we've been doing in our rural areas here in Kentucky, we've been having every month a day of action in all of our counties across the state. And we've been doing deep canvassing where not tied to a political party, not tied to any candidates, and it's just going door to door asking, did you vote the last election? Why did you vote the way you did? What issues are you worried about? And we have seen in my county alone, we have seen that our monthly Democratic Party meetings, a huge increase in people turning out there because they had people reaching out to them, myself included. And that canvassing that you mentioned, Chelsea, is so important. And I also want to say one of our rural counties, it's called Butler County. About 2 years ago, they had an inactive county party. Some of the women in the county was like, we're tired of this. They got out. They started with 5 people, and then they went and they started handing out food at a local soup kitchen. And they started collecting donations and started getting out in the community. Now their meetings get anywhere from 40 to 50 people. When they have their big event last year for the 2024 election, they had over 500 people show up in this small rural county. So it really does make a difference getting out, serving your community, and proudly letting people know, hey, I'm a Democrat. We're not scary like the media says. We're just like you in every way possible. We just want to make things better for everybody. It's
Absolutely.
really been helping here in Kentucky.
I do want to piggyback on that too. Abilene, Texas. I think their population is about 130, 140,000.
You can't come in there.
And they recently started a Abilene Liberal Moms group. And you'd think Abilene, it's pretty red. They have almost 1,000 women in that group. And I was shocked because, I'm in Wichita Falls, just to kind of dox myself. But I'm in Wichita Falls. And Abilene is our sister city. They consider us to be of similar size, whatever. But they've experienced a lot of growth where we haven't. And I would drop unalived if 1,000 people showed up to something that we did. That's amazing. But it just goes to show that whenever you show up, and the story I'm thinking of is it's important to be the first person to do something, but it's even more important to be the second, because once the second person does something that the first person is doing, that's when people start to follow. They'll look at the first one and be like, oh, that person's a weirdo. But if a second person starts to do it, they're going to feel more comfortable. So,
Yeah, I just like to piggyback a little bit on that because I feel like canvassing is one of those things that people think that they can't do, right? I'm a big canvasser myself. I've canvassed for many different political situations, whether it be for the presidential race, Congress, and whatever it may be. I definitely started out canvassing for Abigail. Back in April, May, I think we were doing that. Just to give you a little hint on how effective canvassing is, I was able to recruit most of my canvassers that helped me with my team from canvassing. I ended up recruiting 10 people just from knocking on their door and talking to them and showing them how passionate and excited I was about getting them, getting Abigail and Gisela and Jay Jones, elected and Nicole Cole and Josh Cole and stuff. So I think it's very imperative that, when you talk to them face to face, right, they are more likely to say, yes, I'll go ahead and do that for you. And then they were, throughout this whole 6 months, they were out there knocking doors with us. So it was amazing. So I think that that's very true. But we definitely need more people to get out there and be part of the solution, right? We need people to stop being apathetic and stop sitting here on TikTok, right? Mind you, I love everybody on here. Don't get me wrong. I've met you all on here on TikTok, but I just have to say, I need more people to get out in the streets and get out and be involved with the process because, we cannot sit on our laurels and expect change to happen out of thin space, right? We need for people, like you said, Chelsea, to get out there to the Board of Supervisor meetings, right? The school board meetings, be, a voice so that they understand that, what's your situation, what you want to see happen. Even if you don't want to run for office, you still need to show up so that people can hear a different point of view. Otherwise, they're constantly hearing the same voices over and over again. Yep. And they think things like, data centers are a good thing, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And that is not it. We do not need data centers in every quarter, every 5 feet of every space. I don't know about in the rest of the states. I know that Georgia's had a little situation with data centers, but here in Virginia, it's rampant. And I need Virginians to get out there and say no to data centers. We do not need more.
I will say this, in Texas, we are having the same issue. And we have a huge water problem in Texas. Uh-huh. Texas is going dry fast. And my area in particular, we are, they say we have a 10-year drought and a biblical flood every 10 years, we are very susceptible to drought. So whenever the city council decided to bring in a data center, we had people go to the city council meeting, which they have at 8 a.m. on a Tuesday, might I add.
Sure. Because that's when everybody can show up.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
So we did have people go and dissent, and not just Democrats. Republicans showed up and were not happy about the data centers. And the city council pretty much said, it's happening. You don't have a say. And that's where we're at. And unless we start to hold these people accountable and have people run against them, let people know hey, they don't care about your voice and you're letting them represent you. No. So yeah, data centers are a huge issue right now.
Thank you, Marla, for coming up. Yes, exactly. But us also to segue into our next little section here, I need to give a great big shout out to a candidate who was on our panel not too long ago, who is a young person. She had such a deep love for her community and for her city that she decided to run for city council against an incumbent who's been there for 1,000,000 years. And she won her election on Tuesday. She just told me that today, and I'm so excited for her. Her name is Riley Reed for Covington. You guys in Covington are so freaking lucky because she is an incredible candidate who's going to do amazing things for your community. And we need people like that in every city council across America so that we don't have these people who don't have our interests at heart, right? We need people who have who care about people. We need people who care about people.
And we need young people.
Yes. It's so important. Little Blue Cart, thank you so much for joining and my invite. I'm so pleased to see you. Can you tell me what you do and how it started and what we can do to support you? Because you guys are doing awesome stuff. So
yeah, thank you so much for the invite. I really appreciate it. This is my very first live for Little Blue Cart, so I'm pardon the weirdness and the awkwardness that may come.
That's okay. This is our default setting, so it's fine.
Excellent. So we are a directory of small progressive businesses. This all started with my friend and I. We were having a conversation right after the election, and I was both of us were deeply upset about the election results. And I had to get my daughter, who was a senior at the time, her photos done. And I asked her who her photographer was for her son, who is also a senior. And the first thing I asked her after she told me who it was who did they vote for? Because I refused to support a small business that supported Donald Trump in this election. And so that is how Little Blue Cart was started. And we've grown. We have over 700 small businesses on the directory right now, and we are growing so fast.
That is amazing. And thank you for that, by the way, because I always, especially being here in Very Red, Texas, I'm always wondering, are the businesses that I'm participating in, are they contributing to fascism?
Yeah.
So thank you for that, and continue to do what you do. I think it is absolutely incredible. I know that you and V already have.
No.
You don't?
No.
Okay. A Little Blue
Well,
Cart.
welcome.
I would like to introduce to you not your merch. These guys are super fantastic, amazing people who make bold political merchandise to inspire bravery and get people to, talking to each other and, allowing people like me to make sure that all the maggots in my neighborhood know that I'm not a fan. Right.
Yeah.
So you guys should talk because I think that you guys would have some awesome chemistry.
Awesome.
For what you guys are doing.
I did reach out to you just now during this live, and I sent you a message and said we need to talk.
Okay, sounds good. I will be honest with you. I don't push very many buttons when I'm using electronics, so I probably have a message, but I do not know how to get to it until I get out of this thing.
Just did it, and I just followed you. So
okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. To go back to your question about how you can support us, it's really to share because the only way we can grow at this point is just by having people share who we are and what the mission is. And that's really all it is that we need. Just having small businesses that align with their values asked to join. We have a directory at littlebluecart.com, and you can go there and register your business. And it's just really wonderful. We actually have a market that we're going to be opening soon, very, very soon, for folks to actually sell their small business items directly from the website. So that's coming as well.
I think that is so cool. I think that not only protesting, for example, I live in very rural Texas and I dyed my hair purple and got a septum ring just so that people don't mistake me for MAGA here. Okay. That was one of the contingencies of me moving. I moved here from California. I look like I'm from California. So, no regrets, none at all. But I think that it is so important for people not to just protest with how they present themselves, but to protest with their dollars.
Yep.
And especially now when we have the holidays are right around the corner. There's so many people who are suffering, so many people who are struggling right now. That is how we can make a humongous impact and make sure that this regime knows that we are not going to stand for this. And of course, there's more that we can do. There's always more that we can do. And we've got to dig down deep and find that, that chutzpah, if you will, and get her done.
Absolutely. That's exactly what Kate and I always say. This is a form of activism that, because some people are not comfortable with going out and protesting in the streets, and they're not comfortable with calling their representatives. There's a lot of different forms of activism, and this is absolutely one that has a huge impact that corporate America feels instant. So, and also it's amazing to see the small businesses and how it impacts them. Where $20 may not make a big difference to Target, but it makes a really big difference to a small business owner. So we get to see it all the time. We have feedback from small businesses, and it absolutely just feeds our joy bucket all the time, because we get to see all the positive things that happen through the directory. So, but again, we really, really appreciate the invite. And just platforming Little Blue Card as much as we can is our biggest goal.
I definitely want to have you guys on for a more formal show. So what happened tonight is our candidate had an emergency. She had to cancel. So we had to sort of pivot. And if Kayla and I are good at anything, we may not look like it, but we're very good dancers. Okay. And we just decided we were going to make tonight's show about our community. So, of course, I would love to have William is already scheduled. Maura, you and I will be chatting. Beth, I'm so glad that you just joined in. I'm gonna bring you in just a second as well. But Little Blue Cart and of course V, you guys will be coming onto the show more often, because I think that your messages are so important, and especially on TikTok, where there is so much chaos and the rage sells. There's the panels where you're debating the MAGA and the MAGA.
Yeah,
But
I want to say something to Little Blue Cart, and this is what I'll say, because I've been a small business owner for like 30 years, and this second business that I just started with Not Your Merch, my daughter who's over here. Little small businesses are actually what makes the world go round. The world does not function without small businesses, and the fact that people actually look at just big businesses and think that they're the ones that actually do everything. Small businesses employ, I want to say it's something like 70% of the workforce, and people don't recognize that. And so we need to really, really focus and start shopping small and really spending time with local businesses, because it is because of small businesses that United States actually thrives. And that gets forgotten so much. So I love the fact that you put Little Blue Cart together. And I'm right there with you. I literally went and ordered some flowers for a really good friend of mine this past week. And I kid you not, I called 10 florists and said, "Are you blue or are you red?" And half of them didn't even know what I meant by that. And then finally, straight up, I'm like, "Are you a Democrat or are you a Republican?" And she's like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "Do you support pedos?" I literally said that. I'm like, because I need to know. Otherwise, you're not getting my money. I refuse. I will spend with a small business and I will pay more, but I will not give you a dime if you are red. Not one.
Yeah.
So I love your message. I love that you did this. Yeah. I think that it is so important. And I'm literally in love with you right now.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that very much.
So Beth,
and we appreciate you. We appreciate the kind words, and we just ask the people, check out the directory. It takes you directly to the small businesses. So we're just a platform that allows people to find the shop, and then it takes you directly to their websites, their Etsy shops, wherever that they have their businesses at.
I love it.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. Beth,
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming up to the panel. I know we are getting ready to close out here, but I would love to know um, who you are and what you do. I know you do lives, but tell us, what is your inspiration? What are you doing here?
Well, I'm Beth, the legislative liaison. I live in Appalachia. I have worked in the executive and legislative branch of government, and currently my focus is volunteering for campaigns, specifically for message development, communications, so speech writing, um, again, message image enhancement. So maybe we need to tweak the look or feel of a campaign, the tone or message of a campaign, and maybe turn it into a little bit of a different direction. And so that's my focus. And yeah, I don't go live as much as I used to, because I'm volunteering a lot. In fact, on Small Business Saturday, I will be helping some of my friends who own small businesses and who don't have the money to afford to buy or to pay for employees, but I'm going to volunteer for them, and I'm going to
Yay!
work their booths for them so that they can be at more than one place. So I'm super excited to be helping them. I helped them a few weeks ago, and we did fantastic. I'm like Fabulous Finds. I do not spend my money on in red states. I don't spend my money in corporate America at all much, unless I absolutely have to. So I go to thrift stores or antique malls or wherever I can to get it secondhand. And so whatever I can do to support small businesses or political campaigns, specifically Democratic campaigns, that's my role. And I've been on TikTok a long time. My first account got banned for rebutting someone's stupid comments about Jill Biden, Jill Biden, not Mr. Biden, but Jill Biden.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm rebuilding back to more. Well, I had over 100,000 on that account, and had a couple of things go viral. And I've been in politics, in and out of politics, my whole life, and I've written for speeches for senators and reps and governors and all kinds of good people. So I love the process, the legislative process, the parliamentarian process, and that's what I try to do on this app. And I really don't do other social media, but yeah, that's who I am in a snippet. I lost my mom a few months ago, and so I took care of her with my family for 3 years, and now that she's gone, I am able to kind of refocus and try to find where I fit in now, after that experience.
You fit in where you sit in. And I know that I caught one of your lives the other day and you were talking about it. And I'm so sorry for your loss. But you're doing exactly what you should be doing, and you are where you're supposed to be. So I'm so glad that you decided to join us tonight. And I can't wait to have you on for a more formal discussion about what you do and how we can help support you in your mission, because I think you have your heart is in the right place, and you have drive, and you have a real desire to see positive change in this country, and I think we need more people like you to inspire people. So thank you for that.
Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that.
Of course. So we are like woefully over time tonight, you guys, but this conversation was so incredibly important. And I cannot thank you all enough for being here. Everybody in the chat, please, please, please do me a favor. Hit the little plus button next to everybody's names in here. You got 8 amazing people who are movers and shakers in our country. And we need everyone. We need everyone in this community to work together. So Mara, can you kick us off really quickly and tell us how we can help you in your campaign?
So first of all, again, thank you so very, very much for letting me come on this tonight. What we had discussed earlier, the fundraising is so huge. Being able to, like my guy, he just in one quarter did over $300,000. But when you go and take a look, it's PAC lobbyists through the whole thing. You know, I'm so grateful for those $3, those $5, those $10, but it doesn't touch, you know, him and his super PACs that are buying all those television ads. So if people can, if 1,000 people were out there that heard us and they gave us, you know, $1, $2 recurring from now until the election, you're only looking at maybe $12 or $24 to fund a campaign, a grassroots campaign. And it's those small dollars done in a large group would be, you have no idea of how much that would help us out. So that is right now the big thing that we are up against. You know, we like William, you know, we're out in the rural areas. We are doing everything that a candidate should be, but if we can't get our voice out there, because you can only knock on so many doors, you can only make so many phone calls by ourselves, but being able to have a little bit more reach, that's what we really need.
And can I just add for everyone who's listening, you don't have to live in the candidate's state to donate to their campaign. So that's a kind of a myth that I hear on occasion. Well, they're not in my state. You don't have, you do not have to be in your state. You do not have to live in a candidate's district to give them money. And again, it's like Maura said, you can, you know, give $5. You know, don't get one coffee a week and give. So I just want to clear up that myth. Sorry to interrupt.
No, and what she said is correct, because right now I am spending 4 hours a day trying to raise money. And people will say, I'm in Connecticut. Did you know that? Yeah, that's okay. I'm looking for people to support the campaign. And I'll call Georgia and they'll say, but I'm not in your district. That's okay. I want everybody in Georgia to know I'm running. And it's, you know, we need those grassroots dollar donations.
That's right, Kayla. It takes a village. It takes a village. It takes all of us for change. So yes, that is what I was going for next. William, I'm going to ask you for your donation information as well. But before we do, I'm going to show something here because this is the coolest thing. We have stickers. We have stickers now, you guys. Look at those stickers. Those are our stickers. We have a sticker pack. And those stickers are so amazing. You guys appreciate those? Those are great, huh? So It Takes a Village every village has at least one. And they're fantastic. So please pick up those stickers. They're in my showcase right now. They're hilarious, amazing. You can put them everywhere. And proceeds go towards amazing candidates like Maura and William. And, you know, everything that you help us to raise goes right back into these grassroots efforts. So it is so incredibly important. Also in my show.
Can I get one to cover the entire top of my Bronco, like the hood of my Bronco?
I'm sure that you probably could.
Okay. That's what I can do.
You can talk. I think you're muted. You're muted, V.
Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can now.
Okay. You can. We will make them into car decals because Jess asked us to go ahead and make them into car decals. So if you want them as a car decal, we'll make them into a car decal. But I'm going to steal her thunder, but there may or may not be a shirt coming. I'm just saying.
That's okay. That's okay. You know what? That's going to look amazing on mugs and totes.
Yes.
And, you know, things that have a white background.
Right. Yeah. Well, I already fixed it. I fixed it already, Jess.
Did you?
Yes, it's fixed.
Amazing.
It was driving me crazy. I cannot. I will lose sleep. I have to fix things.
We were struggling with the design a little bit.
Yeah.
Our programs were not cooperating, but they're hilarious and I
Yeah.
love them.
Yeah.
But just to let you guys know, we also have sweatshirts. We have hoodies now. And there's long sleeve shirts in our showcase as well. So if you want merch, we got merch. We got hilarious stickers that you can pick up and sprinkle them all over your town like glitter.
Exactly.
Put them everywhere. It's going to be great. But yes, so that is what we are doing. So cool. Those turned out great.
They
I need
did.
a million of them. So please follow Not
I
Your
was
Merch, you
thinking about
guys.
making confetti. I'm like, this could be good confetti.
It would be great. It'd be a great keychain too. Like I just want it everywhere. It's like, yeah.
I'll make that keychain for you, girl. Don't challenge me.
Balloons. I'm thinking balloons.
Right?
Yes,
With a
balloons.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. For a campaign celebration, just putting this into your ear, if you want balloons, I'm sure that V can help you get balloons for your campaign celebration. I'm just putting it out there, just an idea, you know? It'd be great.
I
Little
listen,
balloons
when you
fall.
challenge me, I rise to the occasion.
You do.
Typically.
You do. Amazing. So, William, can you share with us what how people can get involved in your campaign as well, other than buying stickers from Not Your Merch, so that we can help support your campaign?
I will have to say, with those stickers, I'm gonna have to buy some of those myself.
Well, go to Jess's. Go to
my
Jess
showcase.
political jet right here. Yeah, from her. Like you need to get them at her showcase.
Yes. So, if you want to know more about my campaign here in the 2nd Congressional District of Kentucky, you can go to williamcompton.com. Try to make it as easy as possible for everybody. You can kind of see where I stand on many issues. Just like Mara said, the biggest hurdle we're facing is fundraising. And again, those $1 donations that are reoccurring, $5 donations that are reoccurring, helps out so much. My district, I'm running against, like I said earlier, the man in charge of the Medicaid cuts and the budget bill that passed. And so we need to send a clear message to him. And my district has been neglected for far too long. It's going to take all hands on deck. It's going to take funds from everybody in and outside of the district to flip this seat. But I know that we can do it when we all work together. So, and Uncle Daddy, my primary is May 19th here in Kentucky. But williamcompton.com, that's where you can go. You can find the donation link. You can find out volunteer forms to help the campaign out. If you want to help phone bank, if you want to help knock doors, everything possible you can find.
Amazing. Thank you for that. Maura, can you share yours too? I know I asked you a little bit before, but
It's just like William. We made it very, very easy. MaraKeller.com.
amazing.
You can go to you can go to my link in my bio here in TikTok, and you can get to know me a little bit more.
Amazing. Thank you. And when is your primary, Maura? And thank
It'll
you so
be
much, Little Blue
the
Card.
same. It'll be in May. Right now, praying that I don't have anybody primary me. So the monies that we raise, we can go right into the general, and we don't have to waste the monies going against another fellow Democrat.
Amazing. Okay. Excellent.
Yeah. And I do have one more thing I do want to add with my race too. And I know Mara talked about a lot of the hurdles that we have to face with the funds. Something a lot of people don't know about in Kentucky, we have our public broadcasting network, Kentucky Educational Television. In order for a congressional candidate to be invited to come speak about their race, just to get exposure, we have to raise at least $100,000 or spend it for the public access television here in Kentucky. And it's crazy. And I'm a teacher. I don't have that money lying around. So anything helps so much.
Wow.
Amazing. Awesome. Well, just a reminder, everybody, we know how we feel about big money in politics. We want candidates who are going to serve the people and not special interests. But that money has to come from somewhere. So whether it's your wallet or your time, even a follow, sharing these amazing people gets more eyes on them and pushes their message out across Beyonce's interwebs. And you can do that for free, folks. So buy these guys a cup of coffee, a yard sign, whatever they need to get going, or make a few phone calls for them. That's something you could do. Yes. There you go. Yard signs.
I can make phone calls. I can write postcards, and I don't have to be. I'm not too far from William, but I'm just letting you guys know I have great penmanship, excellent communication skills. I can make phone calls. I know how to do call time. I used to have to schedule call time for my people, and it does suck. So instead of buying from Shine and all these stupid other big corporations, shop local and give, instead of giving holiday gifts this year, make political donations so we can all give the gift of democracy.
I love
It
that.
is a huge, huge gift. I would so much rather, instead of getting my daughter a makeup kit, which, you know, she's 10 and that's what she wants right now, I'd so much rather give her bodily autonomy. So I'm just saying, you know, I would absolutely be remiss if I did not send a very special thank you to the incredible content creators who are here supporting us today, our incredibly amazing activists who joined us. It was just kind of a last minute effort to get everybody together. You all showed up and you stood up for the village, and I cannot thank you all enough. Mara, I cannot wait to have you on the show. We are going to talk and get you scheduled. Beth, same to you. I cannot wait to talk to you guys. William, we're going to talk very soon. So, you know, there's that. It's going to be great. And then, of course, V and Jenny, you guys are always, always, always welcome. Same for you, Mims. If there's ever a time where you and Kels want to come up and talk about the Blue Suit, I would absolutely love it if you guys would do that. You're so much better at messaging that thing, that special thing than I am. And though I share it, you guys just kind of give it that extra punch, you know, that I don't have. So thank you all so, so, so much. And of course, the Design Genie, producer, amazing, goddess of all amazing things, the K-Law. Please follow her. She is incredible. For our moderators, thank you so much for joining us tonight. The show is not about me or the K-Law. The show is about all of us coming together to make positive change. So all those things I mentioned before about following and sharing and liking and all those things, that goes the same for us. We're still a baby endeavor, and we're doing everything we can to grow our presence so we can help as many grassroots candidates and grassroots efforts as we possibly can. It really does take a village, and we need every single one of you. Democracy is not a spectator sport. Okay? We have to be involved, and voting is not enough. So make sure you are still registered to vote. Keep an eye on your local election schedules in your area. You can check your registration status by going to vote.gov. And I never, ever, ever thought I would have to say this, but you're also going to need to follow what happens to your choice after you make it. Again, this is not a spectator sport. It's not a one and done. You can't walk in, put your, stuff down, and then walk out and expect that everything's going to go great, because they're doing some hanky stuff, guys, and we have to participate. So I just want to say thank you so much to the panel. You guys are so incredibly wonderful for coming up. I cannot wait to talk to you guys again. V, thank you for helping me with my merch.
You're welcome, sweetheart. It's my pleasure.
Those stickers, man.
They're fantastic.
Those are fantastic. By the way, this is the shirt that is on my. I know you can't really see it right now, but this is the shirt. This is it right here.
That's amazing. I love it. I love it. Jess, do you mind if I just say a quick, please consider, please just go ahead and boycott Spotify.
Yes.
They are doing commercials for ICE on their platform. I beg all of you to go ahead and end your subscription and let them know why you're ending your subscription. Please cancel Spotify.
It's very important.
That's all. Thank you. And lovely shirt. Amazing.
Thank you. So this was incredibly inspiring. And I know that we have a lot of people who are really, really scared right now, especially marginalized communities, members of the LGBTQ community, women, people of color, just a whole lot of very, very, very scared people right now. But the fear is the point. That is what they're trying to do. They're trying to scare us into inaction. Fear leads to panic. Panic leads to stagnation, and hope and community are the answer for all of it. Okay? So this has been amazing. Thank you all so much for joining us. Join us on Friday. Today is Friday. Join us on Monday. Like, I spent most of the day today going through thinking it was Wednesday. So, oh my gosh, it's been a crazy week. On Monday, we have Stop Moms for Liberty, who's going to be stopping by to talk to us about what we can do to fix the education system in our country. And Dr. Kenneth Morgan Aguilera will be joining us from Texas's 12th Congressional District to talk to us about what we can do to get Greg Abbott, but also Craig Goldman out of Congress. So That's going to be an amazing show. Thank you all so much for joining us. I hope that we will see you again very soon. Maura, William, V, Jenny, Beth, and Mims, and Kayla, thank you all so much. You are incredible. I hope to see you again soon, okay? Have a great night, everybody. Have a great weekend. Be safe out there. Bye.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
It takes a village because for all means for all. Together we'll break